And welcome everyone to chapter 22 of the
Yep.
Mandalorian Spoilercast. As always, I am Mitch. You can
Two.
follow me on Twitter and Instagram at 692 tweets and 692 pics. And of course, I'm joined by Sean.
Hey, you can join me at Marvin_Martian_12 on Instagram. And I'm partially here, so work with me.
Partially.
Yeah, I'm in New York time right now, so
Oh, yeah.
like part of me is still sleeping, so
Stretched
yeah.
across the states.
Yeah,
Time
and
zones.
doing it more the next couple weeks. So
Oh, lovely.
awesome.
I don't envy jet lag in the slightest. But I enjoyed this episode.
Yeah. I love the
It's very
cameos.
much. I was not expecting, of all people, Jack Black.
I thought you were gonna say Lizzo, but Jack Black definitely. Yes.
I mean, Lizzo, for some reason, I'd expect Lizzo more than Jack Black at the minute. I don't know
Really?
why. I think She-Hulk put me in a. Not that it was Lizzo and She-Hulk, was obviously Megan Thee Stallion. But yeah, just something like about that. It's like, yeah, I can expect to see that. Something like that show up. Also, when you got
Everybody.
Sasha Banks show, not that Sasha Banks did anything in this episode, just like
Just stand there, like
just stand there and you look like a
look,
Mandalorian.
she looks stoic. And you
Yeah,
got Christopher Lloyd and Doc himself.
you do. He
Still
looks
got it,
weird,
man.
bold. It's just like the
Still
man
got it,
has
though.
no hair.
But I mean, like, you gotta love how everybody wants to be like a Star Wars, or
It's true. Yeah.
everybody wants to be in it, man. Like everybody's a fan, of like, but and they didn't really never took me out of it, like I like especially Jack Black. That was the more kind of like, oh, what are we getting?
I say
What are we gonna do with this one?
I like Lizzo didn't take me out because I'll be honest, I was more just shocked at Jack Black. It took me a while to click that it was Lizzo.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm just kind of glad Jack Black didn't do the Jack Black thing, too
oh, he
much.
did the Jack Black thing.
Yeah, but he didn't like soup it up to 12, like he didn't start doing this weird dancing, moves in the middle of the
Which is
scene,
exactly why this episode's a 4 out of 10. It would have been a 10 out of 10 if Jack Black did the more
or
Jack
he
Black
busts out,
stuff.
or he busts out a Tenacious D, song that would be
Oh, you
Kyle
should have done.
Kyle Glass would just pop out of nowhere.
I say,
But
if Carl Gas showed up, I'd have lost it. Just like, oh.
I watched this on the plane and I probably would have laughed like hysterically while people were sleeping. Wake everybody up, if that happened.
What a missed opportunity from Filoni and
Yeah,
Favreau. But
I mean, there's always two more episodes, so I mean,
that's
it
true. That's very true.
could happen.
But that's there's now. Not that I have a huge problem with how the like direction and pacing of the season's going, because I can understand the whole no, I had not discourse, but no.
If you would have said Discord, I wouldn't be surprised. So.
I hate the word discourse. Just like discourse. It's like shut up.
Discord. It's
but
another filler.
well, that's people are. That's the kind of the not is it consent? See, I don't look at enough places online to really gauge how people are talking about the show.
Unfortunately, I do.
Like, yeah, you'd be a lot happier if you didn't.
I am morbidly curious, to say the least.
Yeah, get that dopamine hit of, but
yeah,
a lot of the stuff I've seen, from the little that I have seen, is going on about this season specifically isn't really not that it's not going anywhere. It's just increasingly slow. And
it's called pacing.
Okay, it's not perfectly paced. It's purposefully paced.
Yeah,
it's
building up to a boiling point.
Yeah.
It's like it's like turning the stove on with water. Like the water slowly starts to boil up, and then like next thing you know, it just like explodes. And that's how I see the end of the season right here is like that boiling point.
I mean,
like
that's how I'm seeing it. I think because to an extent, I agree with. Not that I'm complaining about the pacing, because I've enjoyed the episodes, right? But I do agree that we're 2 episodes out from the end, and like, to use the boiling point metaphor again, it's going from like cold to hot real quick.
Yeah.
And not to put me expectations in the way. I'd have thought that the last 3 would have been the more right. We're going to bang right into it now.
I think this episode was kind of the beginning of that. I think the beginning of that.
It just feels. I don't know. It feels like it's very backloaded with the last 2 episodes. It's giving those 2 episodes a lot to do, and obviously season 4 is clearly going to be the more Mandalore stuff. I can't see that be wrapped up now.
No.
Sure, it will leave it on a cliffhanger, and then we'll have to wait 5 years for season 4 to come out. Hopefully not, but that's how TV shows go these days. It's like, you get a show, it's on for 6 weeks, it's gone for 2 years, and then it comes back.
Well, I can say this: they got an early start on season 4, and especially with
as I was saying that, I remembered Favreau going on about the next season is written. It's just like, oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Maybe it's not going to be that long.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it was logistical problems that kind of parse out the seasons. It always is. I mean, we're still, whether you people agree or not, we're still in an age where COVID is still an issue. So we're still doing. It's not at the peak of that, but we're still dealing with that. And then there's just a lot of other things going wrong. I don't think it's going to be the norm. When going forward. I think it was just an anomaly. And just in my opinion. But I don't think you're gonna have to wait like 3 years. We're not Star Trek. The movie where there's like a decade between each movie. No, I think it's just a one-off. I think we're probably gonna see it earlier than
I hope so.
2025 or something like that. 2024, 2025.
Oh, that's so far away. that's
I mean,
a year and a half. Well, I mean, it's at least a year and a half until 2025. No doubt it won't be at the start of 2025. It will be either at the end.
I mean, I'm giving you a rough estimate. I don't like it's not exactly that. It's like I would probably put more money on the 2024 of it, because of being at.
I'll put money on December 2024. That is exactly where I'm going to place.
Yeah, I mean, 1 year is not bad. I mean, that's kind of a normal because you still have to shoot.
I mean, a year's normal, but that's a year and a half away.
Yeah, but we'll see.
I don't appreciate it. I want my content quick. I've been conditioned by these companies to just consume. I mean, everyone has been. I mean, it's all Netflix's fault. Netflix have conditioned the world to just binge and consume content. Where's my stuff? Pump it out.
I like going back to the serialized episode every week thing because
I loved it. I
adore it. It gives some room to breathe on each episode versus just like consuming it all at one time and then just forgetting about it. Like it completely. I think watching everything at one time is an adjust to the show or whatever, because you just don't talk about it. You talk about it for a week and then it's over, the next thing.
Oh, so it gets the weekend and then you forget most of the show because everything blends into one.
Because the next thing happens, the next show or the next movie or whatever, it's just, I personally grew up on the week to week, new episode.
I mean, everyone over the age of what?
Yeah, I'm
13 now. Grew up on that.
I'm a Gen Z, Oh, I mean, like.
I'll say you are most definitely not Gen Z.
I gotta say though, like you whippersnappers out there got it really easy, man. Like movies are coming out like digitally like 6 months before, after we this older generation had to wait 3 years before it came on like an HBO or video. So,
And then
side tangent.
you have the rest of the world who had to wait like at least an extra year on top of that, aka moi.
See,
I had so much resentment growing up about seeing release dates, and it's like, why does America get everything like a year before?
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, it's out now. It's like, oh no, that's the American date.
But I mean, it's gotten a lot better though. Like you don't.
Oh, it's gotten far better now. Far better.
It's not as archaic.
I could still go back and remember TASM 2, just as a prime example. I had that like a month before the States did. No, I never figured out why. Or the States had it before. There was a silly gap. I can't remember which way around it was.
Episode 2 part 2 came out before part 1 came out.
Yeah, it's just like, what's going on here? Anyway, that's not the Mandalorian.
Side tangent.
Yeah, very much a side tangent. But yeah, I'm in a bit of a Last of Us situation here. I'm concerned about what the last 2 episodes have to do.
Yeah.
Because there seems to be a lot to do. But
sure.
With the way, like, I've enjoyed every bit of this season. I don't get how no one from what I've seen is really talking about this show. There's not a lot. It's very hard. Like, my Twitter usually blows up when the Mandalorian is on, and it just hasn't been.
Can't tell you why that's happening.
No,
I think
I can't.
There's like no like, I don't know. I mean, I could speculate saying, people are just like not into it as what they used to be. Maybe it was the length of wait that might have been the problem. Who knows?
I think that if I had to guess why, I'd put it down to a combination of A, the wait, B, maybe the other shows in between didn't grab people as much, and it's like,
I mean, I guess. I mean, I think in retrospect, I think people might be like go back to watching this maybe and talk a little bit more.
Yeah.
But like the initial buzz is just not there. Which unfortunate. Because this season
is
has
unfortunate.
been, in my opinion, the season has been like, I think in my top, of the season, like top 3. Of the top 4.
What? Say top 3 of the 3 Mandalorian seasons?
Yeah, I mean, but like, I liked season 1 because of the introduction. And then,
so season 1's fantastic. I need to rewatch that.
It's like kind of classic, Season 2 is okay, but I think this season kind of beats it out a little bit more because it opened the world a lot more. And rightfully so, I guess. After the 4th season, I guess you should be able to open the world up a little bit more and expand.
Yeah.
But it's gotten more back to. Sometimes I felt like the season 2 and 3 were kind of about something else besides what the Mandalorians was going on in the culture.
I think that's probably another part of it, right? You had the whole thing where it looked like the Mandalorian was just going to become
like a
generic Star Wars, right? It's like, oh, look, here's Luke, and there was all these cameos that you don't know because you haven't watched Clone Wars or Rebels. And then season 2 ended on that. We're taking Grogu away. We're splitting these twos up. Now, for the most part, people should have realized that was never going to be permanent.
No, it was backdoor pilot situation. Like you gotta reintroduce these characters to a mass audience, so like to get ready for it. Like that's the nature of the beast, unfortunate.
But I also don't think that the reintroduction of the Mandalorian or Din to Grogu to have that partnership come back together, being in Book of Boba Fett, has helped anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I love the Book of Boba Fett. I liked it a lot.
I enjoyed it. Baby Rancor.
And I mean, I guess we're in the minority when it comes to that. And I think, I mean, did it do a little bit of damage to the brand? Sure, but like I think I felt it a little bit more necessary to do because it did expand. Like the Book of Boba Fett really expanded the Mandalorians a lot more. It. I don't know. But and I'm not going to talk about Andor. I liked Andor. Because
I wasn't going to mention Andor, but I wasn't going to talk about it because that's what it deserves.
I guess that it wasn't everybody's cup of tea. But I honestly, and I'm sure people like agree with me. Some people will. I think it was underrated. I think I think it stuck to the lore of what Star Wars is about, anyways, and I think it just wasn't.
I mean, don't worry, Jared's going to be somewhere. His ears are burning, and he's going to be shouting at me in 6 minutes. I can feel it. No. Before this, I looked, and he was online on Skype, so he's around. I know he's around somewhere.
But maybe the lack of enthusiasm for that show might have killed a little bit of the buzz coming in for this show, but and this is I'm not taking away from fans, so don't take this the wrong way, or you're probably going to take it the wrong way, in which case I don't care. We can discuss it in the comments below if you like, but I think fans, some fans expectations usually override the reality of everything, and I think they like Andor was kind of a little bit of new territory when it came to telling Star Wars stories. I think they were expecting, big boom booms and stuff like that, and you got a slow paced, methodical storytelling, and I think people kind of turned on it. Maybe that killed some of the buzz coming into the show. I don't know. That's a long-winded answer, I guess.
It's just no. I just find it interesting because it went from the top, and not saying it's at the bottom, but it's just there's that noticeable dip, and I'm just curious of what's caused this to happen.
And I do see a lot of people turning on the show for some reason too. Like I see a lot of people talking, like kind of.
So the only thing I've seen that's against the show really is just the pacing of it, like how it's.
I think
it seems it's very, for lack of a better word, it's a plodding along season.
Yeah,
it hasn't really. It's done a lot, but it hasn't done much.
Yeah,
it seems more not more preoccupied with saying about what the plan, like what the show direction is. But it's very much a case of like, oh, we're gonna do Mandalore. We're going Mandalore. Mandalore. We're gonna retake Mandalore. It's just like, can we get to Mandalore? No, sure. We went to Mandalore in the second episode, but after that, it's just like, oh, the cult. Which I haven't got a problem with it in the slightest.
Yeah. But. Well, I think this episode. Get back to this episode. I think that this episode did a lot.
This felt very much like
covered a lot more ground than.
See, did it cover a lot of ground?
I mean, by the end of the show, I mean, you got Bo-Katan raising her arm with that Darksaber.
Yeah, but
she's got.
There is that, which, by the way, I've been sitting here for the last 3 minutes.
He lied too, so that's gonna eventually.
He didn't lie.
He didn't.
It's what happened. It's exactly what happened. He got his crap pushed in by a weird thing people thought was Grievous. He dropped the damn thing. She picked it up and saved him. She has every right to the saber. It's totally fine. There's no lie. It's totally fine.
No lie. I lied.
No, bang goes my idea of the whole she's in the mythosaur, he gets the Darksaber, we get the heavy metal album cover.
I mean, who knows though? Like we never know. I mean,
unless he takes it back, that's
yeah, I mean, I think all that is that part is gone. She's got the Darksaber. I mean, she could eventually ride that mythosaur by the end of this.
She damn well better. You can't just drop a mythosaur in this season and then never go back to it.
Two Star Wars, that would be great. 2 Star Wars shows at the end of the season, riding 2 big ass beasts.
Exactly. That's what I'm expecting. If it doesn't happen, I'm going to be disappointed. I ain't gonna lie. I don't ask for a lot. I ask for one thing, Just the one thing, and I
The
know
only
it's
problem
Favreau
is,
and Filoni, and the one thing I'm asking for is really cool, and that they operate on what's really cool. So come on, just please give me the Mythosaur.
I don't want to burst your bubble, but the only problem with that is like you got to get back to Mandalore to do that. So like
You got what?
you got to get back to Mandalore to do that specific
Oh,
one.
I mean, if the next episode does not go back to Mandalore, something drastic has gone wrong.
Yeah.
Something horrendously has gone wrong. Like, the whole point is to retake this thing. They have to at least end the season at Mandalore, right? Like, you
I
can't...
think the next season they go back to the other tribe, the covert, I think that's where this next episode has to go back to that, right? Like they kind of left it on the angle where,
I mean, yeah, she's going around collecting
like lost
Mandalorian factions. Like, yeah, it's gonna...
the funny thing is about all this is like we know what the ending of this is gonna be though, right? They're gonna fight each other. That's in the blood, of this,
I mean, that's the ending of this episode.
But like
they fight each other. It's just like
that's
Mandalorians.
They're like bound by this warrior code, like they have to. It's their downfall. Their Achilles heels, when it comes to stuff, like that's how they get so caught up in like the other things,
They just like to punch. They just like to punch each other.
They like to punch each other. Yeah. It's a society of self, of like I'm gonna hurt you because you're a Mandalorian.
But no, when you wear a bucket helmet 24/7, you kind of,
How smelly could those things be? Like
I imagine very smelly. Very smelly.
They gotta have a nice little like tinge of weakness there. But
this definitely felt like a side quest, as everyone's like to dub it. In this, I think that's probably the I'd say that's probably the best way to put it, but I'm not putting that in a bad way, because you can get some side quests in games that are fantastic, and it's like this was a good side quest, I found.
And one, like I did like what I liked about the episode. It was kind of noir, crimey, like that. It almost reminded me of iRobot, that really bad Will Smith movie, like
I
droid rights, But I mean,
so I didn't know those battle droids can run.
Yeah, they ran fast.
You only ever see him walking, and you see it run. You're like, excuse me.
But you gotta love the little good cop, bad cop routine that him and her.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna do it my way. Like I love the Ugnuk scene. I thought that was funny.
Oh, they were so good.
She's talking regal and like, you're gonna tell me what I need to know, and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's just like, who the hell are you?
and then Mando just busts out, goes like, this is how you talk to him. I was riding with Ugnut, so I know how to talk to him. I and then there's the little bit in the bar was really interesting too. It kind of like tip to tat to like almost human rights, like with the droids.
I mean, droids need rights in Star Wars. They get abused and mistreated.
You were talking about it last week, so I mean, here we go.
They get refused service just because they're droids. Like, need some respect.
Yeah, and we also
do a lot for people.
We have Moff Gideon still in play somewhere, I would love for him to be, the next time we see him, he's got like a Mando suit, a Beskar Mando suit on,
God. I can see the hot toy now.
That would be awesome.
But speaking of that, that's a very, I'm glad you brought that up, actually. Not that it's related to this episode, which I was shocked that he wasn't in it. But it going back to last week, because wasn't Cara Dune the one taking him, like bringing him in?
Yeah.
So the whole thing with that ship having that explosion in the Mandalorians, like, is she just outright dead?
I mean, if she
or
was,
has she already dropped him off and then no?
I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna
She
explain
wasn't
that.
there.
I think they're just kind of. I think they're gonna maybe sidestep everything. That a little bit. I think
So just
who
recast
knows?
her. Just get a recast.
I don't know.
I'm sure you can find an actress who can actually act and is big.
Yes, that doesn't have crazy views in life.
Yeah,
that gets her social media like presence under her jail. Yeah, I mean, sure, but I don't know. It's
because it's one of those where it's like, cool. Well, she might not necessarily been on that ship, but that ship could be after she's dropped him off, and therefore she's still alive. She's just taking the long way back to Navarro, right? The other hand, it's kind of like, cool. Well, maybe she died. There was nobody though, so she could still be alive.
I mean, or she could be taken prisoner. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's always a possibility. If you want to keep that character around. I mean, in my opinion, it really. I mean, the character, honestly, didn't do anything for me, anyways. So,
no, I mean, I'm not. I'm not out here gonna.
Yeah, I know.
Shout from the rooftops, "Where's Cara Dune of all people?" I'm not Ben Shapiro.
No, I know. But
it's just one of those, she was a prominent character in season 1. Obviously, he wasn't in season 2 a lot, but it's just, are we gonna dump this character? Like, what's going on here? Like, how are we gonna handle this one?
I don't know, man. Like, it's who knows? I mean, I couldn't tell you, if that's the case or not. Like.
Not that I've actually watched this entire season so far and missed the character.
Yeah.
It's only because I saw someone tweet like, "Is Cara Dune dead?" And had the little Wikipedia thing going like, "Cara Dune was taking her away," and it's just like, "Oh yeah, what happened there? Is she alive? She's dead? I don't know."
I mean, we didn't see bodies, so I mean.
Exactly.
The rule is if you don't see a body, they're not dead. So,
exactly. That's what I was operating under. I was like, she might have been in that ship, but there was no body, so she ain't dead. And it's what it is.
I would say if they wanted to kill her off, that would probably be the perfect moment, and they would have probably shown the body, if that was the case.
Yeah, but that means showing Gina Carano's face. And...
I mean, you don't just show a leg with the clothes. I mean.
I suppose, yeah.
There's ways around of not showing the person's face and still getting the idea that person's dead.
That's true.
I mean, a body double from the back. There's a ways. That they, and obviously they didn't want to answer that question, so they didn't put anything. There. So her fate is still up in the air. Who knows? Like the character could 100% come back, just in with a different person. So. I think in my opinion, it's just a not like if you don't see the body, it's she's alive. It's Schrodinger's cat,
She's alive until we say she's dead.
Yeah, I'm more interested in the Moff Tarkin or Moff Gideon of it all. Like where he fits into this. Where he's at. Like because. These last 2 episodes have to answer that question.
He's got to show up in the last. I know it's going to be the last one. I'm not even going to entertain the fact that it's next week. I'm not dumb.
You never know.
It was either going to be a case of he's in the episode this week, which was directly after that scene, or he's in the finale. There was no in between in that. It's just how how the show works.
Yeah, there was like 0 chance he would have been in this episode. I think there's a slight possibility he could be in next episode. He could be involved in the last 2 episodes.
No, he'll be in the last one. I am outright refusing to believe he's in next week. just straight up. I'm not even going to entertain that idea. Just how this show's been paced. Yeah, no. If he's in next week's, fantastic, cool. The show did good. If he's not, it's exactly what I expected.
Any way you want to put some money on it?
If I had money to put on it, Sean, I'd put money on it. I do not, so I shall not.
All right, we'll put the imaginary that Banff coin or whatever on the line. I don't know. I would be. It would be interesting to have him in the last 2 episodes, even if it means like halfway through the second to the last episode he gets reintroduced. And he's in the full episode of the last episode. That would be awesome. I think him being revealed in the middle of the second to last episodes would be pretty cool.
So halfway through next week, cool, got you.
Timestamped down. But like I said, I would love to see him just bust out the Beskar Mando armor. He's gonna.
I mean, that would explain why there was Beskar marks on the shuttle, right?
Yeah, I think it's and this is me speculating. It's not me telling anybody. It just would be pretty BS, BA, to have him just like say, "Oh, so you got an Mando armor? Look at this, like Giancarlo Esposito pimped out Beskar armor, Mando style."
That sounds like the cheesiest 80s action movie dialogue I've ever heard.
That is
that is a generational thing. That is such an 80s action movie line. I kind of part of me kind of wants it, but I dread it at the same time. It's just like, oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. And like it would be really interesting to see, like, does the First Order have to start showing up a little bit, right?
I'll be honest, I forgot about that whole. See, that's another thing. another subplot this season's done, and it's very plodding along for, was it 6 episodes?
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, you got the last 2 episodes coming, so that was 7 and 8. I guess I answered my question last week of how many episodes there was.
Yeah, we have 8 episodes. What's the next one? Is it Ahsoka?
Ahsoka, yeah. Like that's pretty much done. We actually
is that out this year?
I believe it's gonna be either end of the year or the beginning of it, because like there's probably gonna be an overlap in one of the Marvel stuff. Because I know it's done because we actually that's why I went to Skywalker Ranch last week to do the final mix. So I know it's done.
Does she have has the Leku grown longer now?
Yeah, a little bit. About an inch. Very surprised cameos. I'm sure people will probably guess.
I'm stunned a Filoni production with Ahsoka has cameos in it.
Christopher Lloyd's coming back.
Jesus, take the wheel, please.
But
no, I'll be honest. Yeah. The cameos in this episode were the type of cameos that I want. It's just like, yes, give me. I'm all for having like random characters show up, but also give me celebrity cameos. Yeah, why they decided 3 in this episode to pop off with, I have no idea. I'm not complaining.
I love this. I love the celebrity cameos, to be honest with you, because it's like these are people that are fans. They probably paid them at scale just to be in the show, So
yeah.
I
just liked. I like to believe that Lizzo just like, I want to be in the Mandalorian because I want to see the baby, and that was it.
I believe it. Like
put me in this show. Baby. I need to see the puppet. Like, let me hold the puppet.
I love that scene with that little Baccarat game in the back, where he's like throwing the balls to the and he's guiding the ball through all the high marks.
Yes.
Took a liking to that little princess. So
I can't think what the game's called where you have like the hammer and the ball and you knock it between the. That's the
croquet?
One, yeah, croquet. See, I'm not high class enough to know what croquet is.
I pulled that one out. Though. I didn't really. It was a good guess.
It's like croquet.
I played that once and I was drunk, so
I played it sober and I lost. That was.
I played it drunk and missed every one of the things. I think I hit somebody with a ball once, but either here or there. Yeah. That's what happens when you're drunk. You hit balls.
I'm very happy that Bo-Katan has the saber back, and I'm even happier that I was right, despite it taking half a season for her to get the damn thing back.
She looks so happy with herself too.
Now, to me, it's just Katie Sackhoff's acting. She looked surprised when he brought that up, and it's just like she's absolutely drinking the Kool-Aid of this cult right now. She's so emotionally not there that she didn't even realize the thing she wanted has been hers for however many years this season's been going on for, because Favreau likes the idea of this being over years.
But he's already tried to do this one other time too, right?
This is but it was slightly different, right? Because that was just him trying to hand it over to her.
Yeah,
like this is legitimate this time. Like she has the claim to the saber.
Yeah, and I love Mando's like honor in it too. He's like, I don't want the thing. Here, take it. You know,
I can't even use it.
he finally gets an opportunity to get rid of it. You know, he does not want to do this. He's a good little soldier is what he is, you know, and he doesn't want to be soldier. He doesn't want to be like the leader of a people, you know, and like
but I think part of me's really hoping that that's going to be the story, the direction it goes in. It's like he doesn't want to be it, and that's precisely why he has to go.
Yeah, I mean,
there's drama and tension.
What I liked about what I would like for next season is for him to, like you said, like he's unintentionally, you know, placed in a position where he has to do it, you know, and like because this is all, I think it's all building up to a confrontation between the two, anyways. I think, you know, like especially right now, who Bo-Katan is.
What do you mean, Mummy and Daddy are gonna fight?
They do make a great power couple, you know. But like,
and then with Grogu, you got like, who needs a nuclear family? You got look at that family. You know? That's a power. That's
thermonuclear family right there. Yeah. But you know, I think she generally, like, she always believes that she is rightfully heir to that, and like I think in that moment she's like, I can't say the word, but damn, I guess I have to take it now. You know,
reluctant.
Yeah, she's like, I want to fight you. Like that's the problem with the Mandalorians, is like their pride gets in the way of their judgment. You know, and that's probably what leads to them fighting all the time. You know, so she doesn't want to get out of her own way and just say, all right, I'll take it now, you know. But I guarantee it, she wanted to fight him, you know, to get that thing.
I mean, it's Katie Sackhoff, right? She wants to fight everyone.
I mean,
might be the nicest person on the planet. I don't believe that woman ever sees someone without... Not like Russell Crowe levels where she'd actually do it, but there's a little Russell Crowe under the surface on Katie Sackhoff.
Oh yeah, she's a much more beautiful version of that Russell Crowe. You know, if you've seen any of her other roles, it's the same thing. She's like a feisty, like, I'm gonna do what I want to do type character. You know, like I've never seen any character where she's just like a timid, you know.
I say Katie Sackhoff is the She's a byproduct of Sigourney Weaver, right?
Yeah.
She's a byproduct of that, and unfortunately, you get people like a Gina Carano, who's a byproduct of Katie Sackhoff, and they learn all the wrong lessons.
She's a watered down, like, tampered version of.
Oh, that's kind of what I was getting at, right? Like, someone's learned the wrong lessons. It's like, can we go back to the Katie Sackhoff era of these sorts of actresses, not the meatheads that we get in these days like that? But
I mean, like, she's definitely a byproduct of Sigourney Weaver's, you know, like, characteristics in any movie, you know, but in a good way, you know, and like she's carried that baton for a long time, you know. And
she's been at least 3 decades, even for.
I mean, even in some of her non-sci-fi roles, like I forgot what that one show was, but like she plays the same character, and not in a bad way, but you know, like she has a idea of what her character is going to be like, and like it's, you know, you can hit me like any other guy, like she's like one of the boys, you know, you know, type mentality, and like it's just exactly what Sigourney Weaver was. But like you get a person like Gina Carano is just like, yeah, I'm one of the boys, you know, but in the wrong way, you know. But
one of the Ben Shapiro boys.
Yeah, that's gonna be a really interesting. I don't even know what to call that movie, But
Anyway, to get away from
anyway.
that, because there's nothing we've got to talk about. I'm gonna end this off and throw it out there.
Yeah.
You can react however you like. However you like.
I'll
That's
wink
up to
for
you.
yes. I'll wink twice for yes and one for no.
I am putting money on Sabine Wren in the next episode.
I mean, if that happens, that's not going to be out of the ordinary, right? That's the next logical character to be introduced. If that's the case.
There's no way if it's going to happen. If it's not next week, it's the finale. It is one of the two. There's
there
no
has
chance.
yeah. I mean,
No chance.
looking what the next show is going to be, again, that is a much logical conclusion.
Also,
right?
the history the two of these people have, especially with the Darksaber.
I honestly, I do, but I think if it's the character, I think that like the armor, I would be very disappointed if it was she turned out to be the armor.
Oh no, I'm not saying Sabine's the armor in the stats. I'm saying Sabine Wren is showing up as a character in this because she is a Mandalorian that Bo-Katan knows and will need on her side.
She's the next stop, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
She's the next stop on the road trip to collect.
100%.
And it would make sense, if that was the case. Neither me confirming or denying it. So.
And it's like, hey, I can't do this because we're going over here to find this thing. Rebels sequel.
Yeah, I mean, look. Again, always I mean, you look at the next show that's in line. It's like, it is Rebels 2.0, right? It's going to be, a lot of familiar faces that are going to be in that show. So. But yeah, I would be awesome to see. I hope. Do you hope that it's the character, the voice actor that does it, or do you think?
I mean, I know that Sabine Wren is cast as not the voice actor, so I'm not expecting the voice actor in the slightest. Especially not to have a dig. It's kind of a dig, but it's just the reality of the world that they've decided to operate in. The voice actors don't really get that sort of attention. So, well, at least so far. If it is like, hey, here's Sabine, you don't see with the helmet off. It's the voice actress from Rebels. Cool, fine. It'll be slightly weird to go from that and then into Ahsoka, where she's going to be a prominent character, and it's not that voice. But hey ho. So I'm just expecting the actress that they have cast for Sabine to be in Mando next week or the week after, in the next 2 weeks.
It would be kind of weird to have her voice, and then when she takes the helmet off, and it's so
would it be really nice to have the voice actress?
Sure.
As a Mandalorian with Sabine, cool, sure.
Always a possibility.
The one thing I'm very interested to see is how do you pull off Sabine's armor, because it's very much a cartoon thing with all the spray paint, and it's I don't know. I'm interested to see how that works. Obviously, she's not as young as she was then, so maybe she's slightly different now. But even at the end of Rebels, there was still that element there. So I'm interested to see how that works out. But.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think I would think that they would keep aspects of that armor in the live action version to kind of keep it. Right,
Well, that's how you're gonna know it's Sabine, right? You're gonna want that, like, oh my god. I mean, that's if she takes the helmet off, right?
Yeah,
it could very much be a situation where the helmet has to stay on. But
I mean, I know it's not really a comparison, but I mean, if you look at like Bo's helmet, it's almost a 1-for-1 translation from the.
It's true. It's very.
So, but I mean,
I adore that helmet. Oh. Every time I see it, I'm just like, they did it. It's like,
so I mean, and you kind of have to though, right? Because I think Bo-Katan's kind of an interesting thing because it's like they had both the voice actor and the look is almost like a 1-for-1 translation, But I think the only reason I think they do that is like Katie Sackhoff is a pretty recognizable, actor, so they're gonna probably lean more into that, As for like the Sabine of it all, I think I would honestly think that they keep aspects of that character closely resemble to people that are familiar with her are going to know exactly who she is when she walks on the frame.
Oh yeah.
So
it's one of those. Obviously, her armor changed several times over the course of that show because the nature of the whole spray can stuff. Of course, it's going to change, right? But it was very much like how I'm interested because it's not even necessarily the fact that it's painted; it's the amount of colors and the design she has in it. It's going to be interesting how that translates.
And they did Ahsoka pretty close to the character too. I think they matured her up, and like what she dressed like. But I mean, you know who she is when she walks in in frame and stuff like that. But I think with Sabine, I think they're gonna like, since they don't have the voice actor behind the mask, I think they're gonna try to keep it as like identifiable to audiences, to as much as possible, or maybe update it a little bit, but just keep the core aspect of that, character.
Obviously, it hasn't obviously got to be a direct translation because the whole spray painting thing just lends itself to constantly never looking the same, right?
Same,
but you can have something in the same vein, and it's like, that's Sabine. That's Sabine.
I mean, like, considering like most of the stuff is not metal anyways, it's just fiberglass and resin, so like,
What do you mean it's not metal?
It's not Beskar. They don't forge the Beskar.
You mean they didn't make a brand new element?
But I mean, like, it's easier to pull off that, that look, and I think, I don't know. I would be very surprised if they didn't try to keep as much as they could, translate it, Yeah, like, I don't think she's gonna come out in this brand new armor, but
it's just one of those things where it's for some reason Sabine's look is the trickier one to pull off. Not saying in comparison to Zeb, I'm talking in Mandalorian looks, that sort of a thing, because they're all very yes, you get the mixed match ones, right? But they all, it's block colors. There's no extra detail in the paint jobs and all that sort of stuff.
There's two more things. Like, one quick one is I appreciated the recycling of the stormtrooper armor, as the guards. I love
that. Yes, I like that.
It reminded me of Clone Wars, completely. And then the second one.
This was a very Clone Warsy, Rebel-y episode.
I mean, they use a lot of the iconology, the battle droids and but where do you think Sabine falls when you see her? When you see that character, do you think she, I
don't know what you mean.
Where do you think?
Where does she sit with everything?
Yeah, where do you think she is at that point when you see?
I mean, I think purely for the fact that we have the Ahsoka show coming, I don't think she can be, unless there's years between them, right? I don't think she can really take any part in it.
Well, that's what I love about seeing the live action versions, is where are these characters at the point you see them in live action? Versus where they were when they were in the Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff like that. It'll be interesting to see where she how, I don't know, how she reacts to this whole thing.
Because not that I want this episode to go on for much longer, but it's an interesting conversation to have, because I'm certain she's gonna show up at some point in this season. I don't remember them ever giving a date on the ending of Rebels. I know that you had the flash forward, not flash forward, but the fast forward to where you see her and Ahsoka, but I don't remember them ever putting a date on that. So I'm wondering if it's going to be a case of, right, well, the ending of Rebels is in line actually with where Mando is right now.
Yeah,
and that's, or where these the Ahsoka episode's picking up straight from that, and that's how big of a gap it actually was. And so she could be slightly different to the end of that season. She can be, I don't know, but we'll find out, I guess.
We'll find out, Hopefully 2 more episodes or 2 more weeks.
Yeah, it better be next week, because I'll be perfectly honest. No, at least go see 2 factions of Mandalorians and then do the Mandalore stuff. So we've had one this week. We've got Sabine next week. Then go back to Mandalore.
Oh, I mean, she needs more of her people, just before they come back on the last episode. Like you want her to have an army by the time Moff Gideon, steps into the picture.
It's true.
So like that would be interesting to see her go out and recruit more people, to get, bring the family back together. So
yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll find out next week about whether Sabine or Moff Gideon shows up, or both. Probably both. No, Filoni, he's seen these celebrity cameos. He needs his character cameos now.
I'm guessing, hopefully Michael J. Fox shows up at some point too. So.
Oh, give me a Michael J. Fox Mando. Do it.
That would be. Yeah,
do it. Yeah. He's been well behaved, Filoni, though, this season. There's not been that many actually, if any, character cameos.
Yeah. I mean,
apart from Babu Frick. Like we've had Babu Frick, which that feels like that you get one. Choose it well. Then at the end of the season you can have everyone coming because it makes sense.
He's not going full on Taika, so
no, he's been reined in slightly.
He's a fanboy, so
there he is. Yeah, but yeah, we'll find out next week, and we'll catch you all next week. So bye bye.
Bye bye.